So say hello. I see lots of people are on, so make sure you comment with a hello and let me know that you're watching and hoping that you get a lot out of this. So tonight we are making a sheet pan recipe, but I'm actually got several things going on here that I want to show you. Starting with the recipe, but a few other things. Because get it in the oven and have it on the table pretty quickly. It's a recipe I would actually recommend that you prep ahead, and then when you walk in the door from work or whatever's going on with your life, you can, preheat your oven. If you have a smart oven and you can preheat it before you come home, that's even better. And then just pop this in to get it going. So there are some tricks that are going to make this cook a little faster than it normally would. And so it's going to start with, you're going to preheat your oven to 450 degrees, which is actually pretty hot. But it's going to cook things more quickly for you and get dinner on the table fast. So we're also going to be around the kitchen a little bit tonight because there's a couple other things I want to show you. So we're going to take 2 small potatoes and we're actually going to microwave these for about 5 minutes to get them started cooking. We just pierce the potatoes with the fork and we're going to microwave them on high for 5 minutes. All right, so the second thing we're going to do is we're going to get some carrots ready and we're going to slice them real thin. So we're going to actually use the simple slicer to slice the potatoes or the carrots tonight, and you're going to see a couple of different ways to do this. So they're supposed to be sliced pretty thin. I think that is a relative, like, how do you define thin? So I'm going to put them on the 2 marker on here. Actually, I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do it. So on the 2 marker on there, if it were me and I was just cooking for Ken and I would use the knife. So chef's knife, and the way you do that is you keep your hand out of the way, of course, and you just slice. Kind of rock the knife on the cutting board, and that gives me really nice, even carrot slices, okay? So that's the way to do it with a knife. The second way is to use a slicer like this, which I know for a lot of people is much more preferred. So for that, I am going to not use the food holder because the carrot's so long at this point, but as it gets closer, we definitely want to use that food holder, and I'll show you how. So again, here we go, perfect slices. It's also relative to what you like. So for me, like the skinny carrot, I'm much more comfortable using the knife than I am using the slicer. But you can also cut the carrot down into thinner chunks to put on the slicer, and I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a minute, okay? But when they're so skinny too, I don't know, I feel better with a knife. So it is completely your call. But the safest way to do it on the slicer is to cut it into chunks like so. This slides on. Excuse me while I hit my microwave one more time. And then these are going to go on these prongs. And that's going to keep our fingers away from the, and I'd say I really should have cut them shorter. This is Mary Beth's Kitchen, live and unfiltered. And this will actually take it down to the very last slice, which you're going to see here in just a minute. So the key thing is to make sure this is actually locked on, so it slides on. I don't know if you can see that. It just kind of hooks on the edges. And here we go. And you're going to see. And I do love this. If I'm making scallop potatoes, this comes out for sure. This or the rapid cuts. And it will take it down right to the end. Okay, so there's our last slices. And this baby is dishwasher safe. All right, and I think I need to do 1 more minute for the potatoes, but I'm going to err on the side of caution here and let them. I can't remember if I hit that thing 4 times or 5 times. So if you're watching and you counted, feel free to tell me what I did. And okay, so we have that going. I've got my little compost guy back here to put the carrots in. Although honestly, those should go into, we keep a bag in the freezer with our onions and carrot pieces to use for chicken stock. So if you like to make your own chicken stock, I know some of my customers love to do that. That would be what I would normally do, is throw those end pieces in. Celery and onions are what we keep in the freezer bag. Celery, onions, and carrots to make our chicken stock. All right, so we have the carrots ready. We're going to do our pepper here, our red pepper, and we're actually going to chop this. And I'm going to use a quick slice for that. There are seeds everywhere. This was a very seedy red pepper. Oh my goodness. This is like confetti all over my countertop. So many of you have seen the quick slice in action, but in case you haven't, this is my favorite way to make diced bell pepper, and it's so easy. If they're really big like this, I cut them in quarters. Otherwise, you can cut it in half. Lay it on the quick slice. The quick slice is basically like an egg slicer on steroids. So we're going to put it through this way. I'm going to grab another container here. And then we're just going to put them through crosswise. So right now we have strips, and in another 10 seconds, we have diced red pepper, just like so. Okay, so this is, again, quick and easy. And if you like to do food prep, these are steps you most definitely could do a few days ahead of time, or the night before at the very least, so that when you come home, you're literally just assembling this on your sheet pan to put it into the oven. So these containers, by the way, are part of our food prep system. That, oh my gosh, I just use these constantly. I've had to buy so many extra sets of them because they are in my fridge at all times with things in them. So I have two trays that are usually full of either prepped things or things that are just waiting to be used. So for instance, strawberries and blueberries and blackberries come home from the grocery store, get rinsed, and get put into this is just too big. It won't go through all at once. They get put into one of these containers because these containers have a little grid that goes on the bottom. So when you're storing your fruit in them, it keeps them fresh. And I'll just show you how that works here in a little bit if we have time. I'm feeling kind of like, whoo, I don't know why. I'm running a mile a minute, talking a mile a minute, and I need to just slow down and take a breath, right? Because it is okay. This is not a marathon. So some of you may know I am leaving for Kenya in 4 weeks, going back to the place I was at last year, this time with a full team from our church. There's 11 of us going, and I keep joking that I'm practicing Kenya time already because I keep just like not staying on top of what time it is, and then I find myself scurrying around because you know what? Kenya time is great in Kenya, but not so great in upstate New York. People don't like to wait. All right, this is almost done. This was a really big pepper, but you can see how easily that is getting diced. Now, there are other things you could do if you're not so picky about them being little square pepper pieces. You could absolutely use the food chopper. You could use the manual food processor, and we have something coming out on September 1st that is going to blow your mind. I cannot wait to show you. I cannot wait to show you. This thing is so cool. It was all I could do not to show you tonight. So that's a little teaser for next week. But anyway, all right. So this is a quick slice. Very popular, and you can see now why. All right, so we have our veggies ready. This does call for zucchini, and y'all, I just couldn't buy one. I just couldn't do it. All of a sudden, my tablet is, come on, come back, being uncooperative here. Oh my goodness, like Chrome just shut down and I've lost my page. So hold on a moment. I did it, sometimes technology is so great. So I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by my browser here. I was saying that this recipe calls for zucchini. And y'all, I can't, I just can't buy a zucchini in August. I can't do it. I thought we might have had a yellow squash in the fridge from Ken's garden, and I'm not seeing it. But to buy zucchini in August when people are trying to hand it to people, like I saw this hysterical meme about, the dangers, warning your friends about the dangers of leaving their car unlocked during the day in August because you might come back and find your friends dumped all the zucchini in the back seat. It's so true, right? So I just couldn't bear to buy a zucchini, but it does call for that. Any summer squash will work. Mine's just not going to have zucchini tonight, but if you have a summer squash, that would be something you would definitely want to add. All right, so we have our potatoes ready, and we are going to put all of this into a bowl and toss it. And so, what am I thinking I need? Oh, the potatoes, which are in the microwave. Okay, so we're going to cube those, and then we're going to put it all in a bowl. So let me go grab a bowl. My little Maisie girl. Yeah, I do not want to step on you. All right, so we're going to put our red peppers in. We're going to put our carrots in. And we are going to add the potatoes, which we're going to dice. And these are rather hot, but they're mostly cooked now. So that's why you're doing this. That helps. That's one of the things that'll speed up the cooking process in the oven. And this recipe will get done much more quickly on your bar pan, or on your sheet pan, I'm sorry, than it would if you didn't pre-cook the potatoes. The other thing is that potatoes in general take longer to cook in the oven. And so you're just giving everything a head start. So your vegetables will all be done. So I love these little kind of quick tips that help you get your recipe done a little faster, but you're still using whole food. Y'all know, if you've been around me any length of time, you know my obsession with using whole food. So to me, this is a win-win. Getting it done quickly using whole food. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of oil and 2 teaspoons of the rub. So let me grab the oil. This is going in the oven, so we're using our low-grade olive oil. Again, if you've been around, you've heard me talk about the difference between your low-grade and your high-grade. Oh, where's my favorite little measuring cup? There it is. For cooking, so you want to use your low grade for anything that's going to get heated, and save your high grade Evo, Rachel Ray's favorite. I think she coined that phrase, Evo. You want to save that for salad dressings and things like that. All right, we're going to need that again, so I need to not put that too far away. So this recipe is actually a Taste Buds recipe from the July Taste Buds package, and it calls for my absolute hands down must always have in the house it's crushed peppercorn and garlic seasoning. This is such a great seasoning to have on hand because you can use it on pretty much anything. You're making something and you're like, I don't know what I want. This is just simple. It's peppercorn, it's garlic, it's salt, and it is gluten-free. It is all the good things. Salt, garlic, spices, gluten-free, no sugar, no preservatives, just brilliant, yummy stuff. So in your Taste Buds package, you get a little packet like this. I cannot find my July Taste Buds packet. I wonder if I took it to Virginia and forgot that I left it there. So I need to talk to my daughter and find out if my Taste Buds box is sitting in her kitchen somewhere. yeah, if you watched any of the last couple of weeks, I had my two little helpers with me, and they're back. They're back in Virginia with mom and dad now. So, okay, we are going to get our sheet pan out. So I have several different things I'm going to show you at this point. And the first I'm going to show you actually is our brand new Brilliance sheet pan. So this just came out. It's currently available as part of a set. And come September 1st, you'll be able to buy it individually. It comes now, the set it comes with is all the other Brilliance pans. This itself will sell the pan with this rack. And what this rack comes in so handy for is when you want to put like a couple different layers on your sheet pan. So we're not going to do that tonight, but this rack is oven safe. So you could put, actually there's a fried chicken, oven fried chicken recipe where you bake the chicken on the rack so it gets all crispy, it's not sitting in its juices. So we're not using the rack tonight, but this does come with the pan. So I have my two other sheet pans here so you can see the difference. The big difference is how nonstick this is. And I'm gonna actually wash a different piece for you here once we get this in the oven so you can see how amazingly nonstick this Brilliance bakeware is. This does match our Brilliance cookware. So if you have any of our pots and pans that came out a couple of years ago, these match each other. So you have a really beautiful set. They are amazing. They are simply amazing. You know how much I love my stoneware, and we're actually going to talk about that in a minute. But I will say, so far, every time I've used the Brilliance, I have been super impressed. Not only with how it bakes, but also how it cleans up. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. Now, the third sheet pan we sell is this large half sheet pan, and it also comes with a rack. This rack has feet on it. So what's the big difference? Well, this is nonstick. This is not. This is kind of really great for average, everyday people like you and me. This is what my husband would choose because he's the executive chef. It is really a matter of preference. This is aluminized steel, I'm sorry, it's not stainless, doesn't need to be. But it's aluminized steel, and this has the nonstick coating. These wash up nice and easy. The food falls off. So it's really a matter of preference. And like I said, my husband likes that one because that's what he's used to in the kitchens he's worked in. But I think you're going to love this one. If you're just kind of like me, everyday cook, right? We're just doing our thing. Okay, so we have combined our veggies, sans zucchini. We don't have the zucchini, so I don't have a beautiful green color going on here, but you will. Because you will either have a neighbor who has a zucchini out on their porch asking you to take it, or you've grown your own, or you'll just buy one at the store. It's funny, any other time of the year, I kind of like, oh, I can't believe I'm buying a zucchini. But in August, I just can't do it. I can't, not when people are trying to give them away. I just didn't happen to know anyone trying to give one away today, so here we are. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to get our chicken breast ready. We're going to have some mayonnaise, some Dijon mustard, some honey, and our chicken breast. Again, these are all things that I would recommend if you're trying to get dinner in the oven quickly. You can have all of this done ahead of time, and then just assembly would literally just be a few minutes. So I don't know if you know, but this measure-all cup goes as little as 2 tablespoons, which is how much honey we need. So that is super convenient. So we're going to start with 1/3 cup of mayo, 1/3 cup of the Dijon, and then we will have our honey. Just the ingredients to this recipe makes my mouth water. Panko crumbs, Dijon mustard, honey, mayo. Doesn't get a whole lot better than this. All right, did that very well. So 1/3 cup, this measure-all cup, a lot of people get it for peanut butter and shortening, but it is fantastic for mayo, especially if you don't drop it. So bump that in. Oh my goodness, I've never been so happy to see a jar of mayonnaise in my life. I don't know what I would have done. I was like having this moment looking at in the fridge going, well, if I don't have mayo, will yogurt work? I don't know. Glad I didn't have to figure that out. So we also have a third a cup of Dijon. So if you're not much into Dijon mustard, you could substitute yellow, but I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't. Dijon has a very different flavor. Excuse me, fuzzy. A very different flavor than your yellow mustard, so I think it'll give the recipe a really different flavor. So unless you just really hate Dijon mustard, do yourself a favor and buy it at the store for this recipe, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It adds a really great flavor, but it's not as strong as your typical yellow mustard flavor. Okay, and then we need 2 tablespoons of honey. Oh, good, I do have that off. And so I have this literally down to the 2 tablespoon mark. Beautiful. Get a really nice, accurate measurement there. All right. So we've got the mayonnaise, Dijon, and we need another teaspoon of the seasoning. So it's 2. Yep. Yeah, okay. That goes in there. I'm going to mix it all up, and then this is actually going to go onto the chicken. Grab a whisk here. There we go. So we have this really beautiful honey Dijon mayonnaise. Oh, this actually is going to go, we're going to use it to coat the chicken, but then also it will go on top of the chicken as part of the serving. Okay, we need to get our panko crumbs ready. So if you are gluten-free, you can get gluten-free panko crumbs, or you can just skip this step. It is really completely up to you. But I have used gluten-free ones before, and they've worked very well. These are whole wheat because I'm the whole wheat girl. So my the other night, oh my word, it was too funny. We were sitting out on the sun porch. I had made dinner, and I had made white rice because I just didn't want to take the time to make brown rice. I think it was Monday, and we both had a long day, and I just didn't feel like making brown rice. So I made white rice, and he was thrilled. So then he started telling me that he was pretty sure white rice was healthier than brown rice. So then he decided to Google it, and of course, he was quickly proven wrong, but he was so disappointed because he really wanted it to be as good or better for him than the brown rice, which I was like, well, honey, I wish. So this little guy is coming out on September 1st, and this, I think, is going to be a huge hit in your kitchen. It is a grater. So we have our other graters. This is the one I would normally be using for this. And let me just show you kind of the difference so you can see. Get my mayonnaise out of the way. There we go. So this one, you can hold over your food, right? Okay, and just do this thing. By the way, funny story. This might make me cry. I'll tell you when I'm grating here. Funny story about cheese. Anyway, so I'll come back to it. Sorry, rabbit trail. So this also will work nicely over a cutting board like so, okay? This little guy will actually collect the cheese in the base, and it kind of grates in every direction, and it doesn't get all over the counter. I love this thing. I'm going to cut this cheese in half. It's a little too wide. So we need a half cup of grated Parmesan. And one of the things that this does that I think is so cool is the back, it's going to be hard to see, but it measures up to a quarter cup. So you can grate and measure, see how much you have as you're going, which I think is brilliant. It's so smart. and it does it so quick. And then it's got this little thing on the inside that kind of, when you turn the base, it wipes off the bottom of the blade, so you're getting all of your getting all of what's on there, which for cheese isn't such a big deal, but it's definitely a big deal when you're doing something like lemon zest or lime zest. So funny, cute story. So most of you know, or many of you know at least, that my daughter lives in Uganda and serves there full time. She and her husband is missionaries with an organization called Engineering Missions International. So it's pretty cool. They provide engineering and architectural support for other organizations over there, other nonprofits who need engineering and architectural design, or just all kinds of things. And so their organization provides that support. Well, I called her yesterday. Thank goodness I live in the 21st century and I can call her. We video chatted for probably half an hour because I'm heading to Kenya in a few weeks, and I'm having that realization that I'm going to be really close to Uganda, but not close enough to see her. And to get over to see her would really be a challenge. This really does have to do with Parmesan cheese in the end, I promise. So, calls for a half cup. I'm like, whoa, I don't know why this is taking so long. Anyway, all right. So I'm kind of sad about it. Really having a hard time thinking about leaving, being so close and yet not close enough to see her. And she is going to be 7 months pregnant by the time we get there. And so there's no way she can come to Kenya. It just would be very unsafe. So I hang out with Hannah, and not even 30 minutes later, I get a text message from a very dear longtime friend of mine who says, we're leaving for Uganda tomorrow. Can we get your daughter's phone number? And I'm just like, what? So of course I call her right away. And she and her husband have been to Uganda multiple times, but not for about 6 years because of COVID and all. So they are literally right now on a plane to Uganda. And so I texted Hannah and I said, what do you need? And she says, oh, let me think about, what do I want from Wegmans? And what she wanted was Parmesan cheese. So making anything with Parmesan, it is a very big deal. You can't get good cheese in Uganda without paying a lot of money. And so it's quite the treat to get any kind of cheese. And Parmesan, being a hard cheese, travels very well. So my friend and her husband went to Wegmans last night and picked up some Parmesan cheese for Hannah, several things of it actually, to take with them to Uganda. So that is my Parmesan cheese story that I just had to share. All right, so our chicken is ready to go. So we're going to coat it with some of the mixture here, and then we're going to dip it into the panko mixture and put it on the vegetables. This calls for 2 pounds of chicken breast. So it says 2 small breasts. These are not small. So we're going to just do the old measure thing here. If you have a scale like this, you should be able to tare it. So I'm going to just tare it with the mat on. So it'll take it down to 0. Come on. There we go. Okay. And then I can put these on the mat. Make sure. Yeah, I think I do a third one here. So it's 2 pounds. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, great. All right. So we're going to spread some of the mustard on top of this. We're going to be very careful not to cross-contaminate because the rest of the mustard is going to be used, the mayonnaise mustard is going to be used as a sauce. So it says 1/4 cup of the sauce. Okay. Get my little guy back here, put 1/4. See if we can do this. There we go. So ideally, you could put this in a little bowl and use it to coat your chicken. I'm just going to do it right out of here, not get another bowl dirty, but you could do that. Oh my word, y'all, this smells so amazing already. Then we're going to coat it in the panko crumbs and put it on the pan. I managed to get that sauce everywhere. Okay, and actually this needed a little bit more oil. Do that. This is like the longest Thursday Night Live I've done, so I apologize, but it's going so long. I will definitely work on the recording later and shorten out all my blips, like when I couldn't find the mayonnaise. Maybe cut out the story about the Parmesan cheese. I don't know. We'll see. Tell me if I should cut out the story about the Parmesan cheese if you're currently watching. Okay, you can be my editors. All right. So we're going to take this. We are literally going to just take this, dip it in those panko crumbs, and lay it on top of the vegetables. Okay. So we're dipping the coated side into the panko, kind of pushing it in, laying it on the breadcrumbs. It will be interesting. I'll be definitely using my meat thermometer to make sure these are done, because they are very thick chicken breasts, and I am a little nervous about them getting done in the amount of time. It's supposed to bake for 30 minutes. So that's where having a good oven thermometer is really important, so you can stick it into the thickest side of that breast and make sure that they have baked to the full temperature, which is 165, is what you want, and that they are truly done. So I'm just pulling out what's left in the bowl here. All those panko crumbs are on there. This is going to be amazing. All right, into the oven it's going to go. I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes. This little guy, our clock timer, by the way, is leaving our line. So if that's something that you would really like, last chance to get it this week. There we go. Okay, so here's what else I want to show you tonight. First of all, I want to show you what I'm doing with the rest of that chicken, because it is a big sheet of it, and because I do like to prep ahead when I have the time, and because I really need to go back on a high protein diet. So I'm going to just take what's left of this chicken in here. I am going to season it. Now I'm actually going to use the same black crushed peppercorn and garlic seasoning because I love it so much. I'm going to take a meat tenderizer and flatten these down so they're the same thickness. Wish I thought of that before. There. Right. Pop that maybe right in the dishwasher. That, by the way, makes a fantastic doorstop or a tool in your car to whack open a window or hit somebody with. Okay. Stories I used to tell at my parties. So I'm going to just sprinkle this and pop this bar stone into the fridge. And when this recipe comes out, I will be turning the temperature down to 375. I'll put a sheet of foil over it because I don't want it to get dried out on top, and bake this in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes, obviously temping the chicken to make sure it's done. And then once it's cooled, I'm going to chop it up into chunks, put it in my little containers, store it in my fridge, and have chicken ready to throw in my salad for lunch any day I want it. You know, so often eating well, for me at least, has a lot to do with having the right food in the house and having it easily accessible. So pre-cooking chicken and having it ready that I can just toss it onto my salad or make chicken salad out of it or whatever I want to do, it is such a time saver, and then I eat better. And I'm going to buy the big thing of chicken anyway. So rather than freeze it to use later, I just cook it up and have it ready to go for salads for the rest of the week. So I'm going to pop this in my fridge, and I'm going to show you one more thing, and we'll sign off for the night. Whoops. Come on. There we go. Okay. So let me bring the camera over here. Because I know someone's going to ask the question, and it's important to know. I left my cupboard open. Yes, you can put stoneware right from your fridge into your oven. It's okay to do that. So if you want to prep something like this whole recipe on your stoneware bar pan, if you already have a stoneware bar pan and that's what you would rather use for this recipe, go for it. You could prep the whole thing ahead of time. I would cover it in plastic wrap or foil if it's going to be in there for a day or two so it doesn't dry out, right? And then you can put your stoneware right into the oven from the fridge, not from the freezer. So that's the big thing to remember, okay? So it's fine going from the fridge to the oven, but don't put it from the freezer to the oven. And the big difference is the food on your bar stone in the freezer, it's going to thaw faster than the stone does, and that causes thermal shock. Actually, it might be the other way around, but either way, thermal shock is what will happen if you go from the freezer to the oven. So fridge to the oven is fine, freezer to the oven, not fine. But a lot of people don't know you can do fridge to the oven, so I wanted to make sure that you knew that. So there is that. Okay, I have a mess in my sink now, so let me just get rid of a couple things, and then I want to show you how beautifully this Brilliance cookware washes up. So let me see if I can angle this to my sink. I might just have to flip it around, guys. I think I'm going to flip it. There we go. So excuse all the other things I've been throwing in here, but I want to show you, this is one of the two bread pans. They come in a set of two, and these pans, in fact, all the Brilliance cookware, the bakeware, with exception of the sheet pan we used, all of it comes with a lid. Let me just zoom this in a bit here, maybe, so we're not, having to look at all my dishes. Okay, so this I made lasagna in a couple days ago. It sat in our fridge. I ate what was left for lunch yesterday, and it's been sitting on my counter ever since. Somebody was supposed to wash dishes last night and forgot to do it. And I won't name who that was, but it didn't get done. But that's okay, because now I can show you. I want you to see how this cleans up. It is absolutely amazing. So hopefully I'll stay in your line here, line of vision, and get some hot water going. And where's my wash rag? Here it is. Honestly, I don't even need it to be hot. I can take my sprayer, and this is lasagna, you guys. This is lasagna, and look at how it just comes off. Can you see that? There is no lasagna sticking to this pan. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm going to just take my wash rag and squirt a little bit of soap on it. Wash this up. And it's done. No soaking. No soaking the lasagna out of the pan. How many times have you made lasagna in a metal pan and you end up, not only do you have to soak it out, which is just a royal pain anyway, right? But you lose all the lasagna that's stuck to the edge of the pan. And often it's burnt. Now, I understand liking the crispy edge, but let me tell you, there is something different between crispy edge and burnt edge. Burnt edge, not fun. Crispy edge is yummy, which I did have. This did have a nice crispy edge on it, but not burnt. Big, big difference. Look at how beautifully that washed up. Isn't that amazing? So that is the brilliance. The exterior is a little different than the interior. Non-stick. The exterior matches the brilliance cookware. Let me stay in the camera there. And then the interior has this very heavy duty non-stick on it. These come with lids, as do all the other pans, with the exception of the sheet pan that I showed you earlier. And so that is coming, it's available now in the sets, and then it'll be available open stock as of September 1st. I'm so glad you joined us. I will post pictures of this recipe once it's done, so you can see how yummy it comes out. And the actual recipe itself is already posted in my VIP group. So if you're not part of my VIP group, let me know and I will send you the link. All right, friends, well, have a great evening, and I'll see you again next Thursday night. And I'll have new products to play with, all the new products. So we'll cook up something fun. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.